Choosing a Life by ginnyrules27, Chapter 10. Haddie chuckled as he and Chip worked to finish up the decorations in the ballroom they had taken over with the help of Amir and Akio. Actually, Emma, at the very least, requested that they take Amir off her hands for the day. You see, one of the shadows had, in fact, managed to time the pregnancy of their significant other to Mal's pregnancy. In all honesty, that would have concerned Haddie more if he hadn't grown up around Jay and Harry. "How are those balloons coming up, Jean?" Chip called, and Harry looked over at the corner, where his little sister and his adopted sister-in-law were hard at work blowing up balloons. Though Rhea still needed help tying off the balloons, so it had quickly become an assembly line, where Rhea blew them up and Genevieve tied them off. "How many balloons do you need, Chip?" "Akio requested that we do as many as we can so that Mal and Ben walk in here. It's like a waterfall of balloons down on them."
"How is he allowed to be an adult?"
"It's something we question every day. Now, how about those balloons?"
"I can't count that high."
"What do you mean?"
"I'm 6, you imbecile."
Chip shook his head. "Remember when your mama taught you about using nice words, Genevieve? But good job on the French."
"Thanks, Chip,"
Genevieve said, perking up slightly at the compliment.
"Can you come help me count? I think Rhea and I have blown up a bajillion balloons."
"Coming right up," Chip chuckled. "Haddie, are you going to finish up on the streamers while I help the girls?" Haddie nodded. "We better hurry up, though. Akio and Amir can only keep Mal and Ben not distracted for so long." "Please, if I know those two, they could keep Gaston distracted," Chip said, shaking his head. That's not that hard. All you have to do is show him something shiny where he can admire his reflection. Why am I in no way surprised by that?" Chip and Haddie chuckled before Haddie shook his head and went to finish up on the streamers, while Chip went to help the girls with the balloons. It was a good thing, because not 15 minutes later they heard the familiar yip of Estelle down the hall and the voices of Akio, Amir, Mal and Ben carrying. Almost as if Akio and Amir were trying to let the others know they were coming. "You guys seriously didn't decide to throw us a baby shower, did you?" "Ben, of course we did," Amir said with a grin. "What kind of friends and shadows would we be if we didn't throw you a shower?"
Friends and shadows with their own wives?" Mal ventured as she walked over to give Haddie a hug, Estelle following to give Haddie a lick before trotting over to the girls.
"Irrelevant," Akio shook his head.
"Besides, Emma and Elle are having a girls' day while we spoil you as the siblings, bio or otherwise, that we are."
Ben snorted as he walked over to Chip. "How'd they rope you into this? You seriously think I need to be roped into insanity like this, Benji?" "Oh, right, forgot who I was talking to." Ben chuckled as Chip pulled him into a hug. "Still, you didn't have to do this. I know you're busy with work and—"
Up, Benji.
"Rule number 1 of being the big brother is your siblings come first. You're the baby of your family, though."
"I'm older than you, Benji. Therefore, I'm the older sibling."
Ben snorted softly. "Honestly, there have been times where I've questioned how you could be the older one between the two of us."
"Well, it's because I was 9 when you were born, Benji. I know you're smart enough to know that 9 is greater than 0 after all. Besides, growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional."
Ben shook his head and smiled as Mal walked over. Resting his hands on her stomach, Ben asked, "And we're going to keep you as far away from your Uncle Chip as we can until we know his insanity isn't contagious. Okay, Firefly?" "Firefly?" Amir asked.
Mal chuckled as she nibbled on a strawberry that had been on a tray of fruit, provided, of course, by Mrs. Potts. "We both have pet names for the kid until we find out the gender."
"Oh, like how Dad called Rhea Sprout?" Haddie asked.
"He did?"
Rhea asked, slightly cutting off Mal's answer. But Mal didn't mind because she got to see her little sister's eyes light up on excitement. Mal smiled as she looked over at her little sister, looking far too innocent in her little ocean of blue and purple balloons. While she was still 3, Her speech pattern had gotten much stronger over the last couple of months. Mal suspected it had something to do with the fact that she was a full god. Hattie suspected that either Giraz or Hebe had grown tired of the toddler talk. He did, Mal nodded. So I'm following in that pattern, and so's Ben, since we both don't feel comfortable calling our child it or the baby all the time.
Let me guess. Ben's has something to do with dragons,
Amir asked with a grin. Do you even have to ask, Amir?
Akio chuckled. Ben shook his head. Dragons can fly and breathe fire, he said. Hence, firefly.
And I use pup because Dad's symbol is the Cerberus and dogs have puppies. Mal explained. Estelle yipped softly and wagged his tail at the thought of his girl having her own pup. It was a nice thought, and something his girl deserved. Sorry, boy, Mal said, mistakenly thinking that Estelle had been asking for puppies of his own. Maybe after I give birth we'll look into getting you a girlfriend of your own, so you can have your own pups.
Wait, another Cerberus?
Ben asked. Of course, Mal nodded. Why not? That way you're not hugging Estelle all the time when you go on your runs.
I don't hug him. Okay, Chip chuckled. Maybe later you two can talk about getting a second Cerberus for Benji. But for right now, it's time to celebrate the new prince or princess that's going to be joining us soon.
Hey, he may have loved Genevieve the same way he loved Ben. But he was not giving a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old the facts of life talk. Giving it to Ben was bad enough, thank you. Okay, so normally baby showers have games, right? Hattie said. So we're going to play How Old Were They with photos courtesy of Mom and Chip.
Wait, what?
Hattie chuckled as he turned on a projector and shook his head at the very first image.
Ben, why am I not surprised you had a stuffed dragon?
He still has it, Mal said with a fond smile. Got to say, Flamey looks better in this photo than when I saw him.
Flamey? I was a very uncreative child, Ben said as his brother-in-law shook his head in amusement.
Chip grinned. Oh yeah, I remember Flamey. Wasn't that the start of Ben's dragon obsession? Akio said. So really this could be any time.
Nah. Amir shook his head. While Ben would always have his dragon obsession, he only carried Flamey around with him until he was about 7 or so. Of course that excluded going to school, but that was only because he couldn't carry all the books he wanted if he did that. We've been around each other for far too long, Ben said after staring at Amir in slight horror. No such thing, Ben, Amir said. So, judging by the fact that Ben's carrying both Flamey and not wearing a suit, I'd say he was 5 in that photo.
You'd be correct, Chip nodded. Interestingly enough, that photo was taken right before the first official summit to Agrabah that Ben was deemed old enough to go to without needing me to watch him.
Was that because he'd become friends with me the year before?
Probably, now that I think about it. Hattie chuckled. Okay, next photo. Hattie, where's the cake? Maria asked. You said we would have cake. Cake? Mal perked up. Come on, Hads, don't deny pregnant woman cake. I thought you were my favourite brother.
I'm your only brother. Hattie shook his head. And Rhea, games before cake.
But you said we'd have cake before presents. And I want to see Mally open mine. I have loot.
Ben chuckled. I think you've lost the attention of the guest of honour there, Hads. Might as well give Mal what she wants.
Hattie shook his head.
Well, I guess we can always play more later. It's not like the photos are going anywhere.
That's the spirit. Now give me my cake.
Mal, didn't anyone ever tell you that give me's never get?
The person who invented that phrase wasn't pregnant and craving everything and anything under the sun, Benjamin.
It was Chip's turn to chuckle. Fret not, your highness, the cake is coming. In fact, here it is now.
Is that an ice cream cake made to look like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Sure is. Akio, How much did you have to do with the choice of cake?
Everything, Akio grinned. Why else would it be your favourite sandwich, Ben?
Ben shook his head. I told you that when I was 11. When are you going to let me live that down?
Never. If the big strange kid would stop being weird, can we have cake? Rhea asked. Genevieve chuckled. She's got a point, she said as Akio looked almost hurt.
Almost being the key word. One thing you need to know about Akio, little lady, is that he takes pride in being strange, Chip said as he began to slice into the cake. But if you'd like to have some cake, you'll have to come out of your little blue and purple ocean.
No! I'll take it to her, it's no problem, Mal said. How'd you guys handle Rhea's powers not acting up?
Prototype for a portable magical barrier, Hattie said, pointing to a nearby rune. Fairy Godmother's been working on them. I wanted an excuse to test them out.
Because she knows that at some point Oridon Prep will have another full godling and wants to make sure Rhea doesn't burn down the school?
Nah, I think she's just bored.
Huh,
Mal said, looking more than slightly impressed. Seems to be working fairly well, Ben said as he took a piece of ice cream cake over to Rhea. And if it continues to work, I'll get one for the castle. Or at least Firefly's room, he thought.
Yay, cake! Now, Rhea, what do we say? Mal called. Yay, cake?
Genevieve snorted and whispered something into Rhea's ear.
Oh, thank you, Ben.
Ben chuckled and ruffled his sister's hair. You know you can't always give her the right answers, right?
But Rhea's my friend. And Mama and Papa and Mama always said we should help out our friends, Genevieve said.
Ben smiled as he heard his sister's reasoning, and his smile only grew as he heard Gia being included in the list of parents. They hadn't kept it from Genevieve that Gia was her biological mother, even if they didn't really dive into much detail there. To Genevieve, she had an extra mum and a boatload of aunt and an uncle that Ben didn't have. That's right, Jean, he said. But sometimes, if you help people out too much, they won't be able to find the answers for themselves.
All right, Ben, you can take a break from being a parent long enough to eat your cake before it melts, Akio shouted, because if you don't, then we can't open presents. Eat your cake, Rhea and Genevieve exclaimed at the same time. Ben chuckled.
As you command, my lady, my princess.
Thank you, Mal said, shaking her head. I want my loot.
You can take the girl out of the pirate crew, but you can't take the pirate crew out of the girl,
Hattie grinned. You've been around Dizzy too much, haven't you?
Considering she was the one who handled my suit fitting to be one of Chad's groomsmen, I should hope I was around her a lot. Besides, I thought that'd be something you'd like, Mal, considering Dizzy's not all that sarcastic.
What does that mean? Rhea asked, tilting her head. Mal and Hattie looked at each other before looking back at Rhea. Ask Dad. Okay.
Ben snorted in amusement. Okay. I think Mal's about to drag one up right here and now if she doesn't get her loot.
But you still haven't eaten your cake, Genevieve said, her hands slightly on her hips. Mama won't be happy about that, baby.
How about this? Mal and I can switch off opening each present and I'll eat the cake when she opens a present, Ben offered. Does that sound fair, Jean?
Genevieve nodded. Okay, that sounds fair, as long as everyone gets cake. Ooh, open my gift first.
How'd you get them a gift? Chip asked as Ben grabbed a blue and gold wrapped present from the table. You're 6.
Mama and Papa helped me.
Oh, gotcha.
Ben chuckled as he unwrapped the gift.
Thank you, Jean. I'm sure Firefly will love these.
What did she get you? Akio asked.
The Magic Treehouse box set, Ben said, holding them up. We might not get to use them right away, but at some point they will be read. Chip shook his head in amusement.
Belle's kids will give books. I think that's an unwritten rule somewhere. Anyway, here's my gift. Thanks, Chip, Mal said as Ben began to dig into his cake.
No thanks needed, Mal.
Mal smiled as she took the gift, though where the man managed to find a gift bag shaped like a teacup, Mal would never know. She opened it. Chip, you didn't!
Lady Persephone told me about a onesie you'd had as a kid, so I thought I'd see if I could find one like it, Chip said,
as Mal held up 2 onesies. There was a purple and blue dragon onesie, and the other was a blue and gold Cerberus.
Ever since you were crowned Queen of Oridon, a lot of shops have been selling baby clothes like this, so it was really easy to find. Where'd you get 2? Ben asked. Because according to Mum, babies go through onesies like crazy, Chip told him. You'll be thankful for 2, though I'm sure you'll have more than that once Lady Persephone and Belle throw you their own shower. Why do I have the feeling that it wasn't something you were supposed to tell us? You can ponder that,
Emir said as he handed Ben another present.
Open mine now! Emir, you didn't have to get us anything, Ben said, shaking his head. Yeah, I know,
Emir said.
Now open it!
Ben chuckled as he opened the present and shook his head.
A stuffed tiger? Well, someone's got to counter all the stuffed dragons you're gonna get the kid, Emir said with a small shrug. Besides, everyone knows that tigers are the superior animal. I'm surprised you didn't say monkeys were, considering your dad's best friend was a boo for so long. Doesn't matter though, because you're wrong. Dragons are the best animal.
Excuse me, but do either dragons, tigers or monkeys have a song written about how much better they are? Akio asked. Mal and Hattie looked at each other and chuckled. So you want to tell them why they're wrong and that Cerberus are so much better?
Not now, Mally. You're the guest of honor. You should be the one to break their hearts like that.
However, neither of them were able to be the one to actually say it, because at that moment, Estelle yipped and wagged his tail, giving everyone a doggy grin. I think Elle's trying to say that Cerberus had the best, Rhea said with a grin of her own.
I think so too, Hattie nodded.
Now if you people could stop delaying, we could continue with the present. Oh, Mally should open my gift, Rhea said. Mama, help me get it. Well then, I'm sure I'll love it, Mal said as Ben passed her the blue and green wrapped present. Mal quickly unwrapped it and chuckled. Did Belle influence this gift?
What is it? Ben asked.
Mal held up the gift. A book.
How fitting, Chip chuckled.
Rhea shook her head. Mama found it and thought you might like it. Love you forever, Mal said with a small smile as she read the title of the book. Ben grinned.
Oh, Mum used to read that to me all the time growing up. I still remember part of it, actually.
Really? Mal asked. That surprises nobody, Akio said, shaking his head. Ben nodded.
Mum would change it a bit to fit with the French she was teaching me, but the part I remember is what the mum says to the child.
And what does she say?
I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be, Ben said as he gently rested a hand on Mal's stomach.
Mal smiled softly as she felt the baby kick slightly. I think the pup likes the sound of that. Remind me to thank Mum for the gift. Hey! Oh, right. Thank you, Rhea. That was very thoughtful of you. Akio chuckled. Well, looks like it's just Hattie and me to go. Hats, you want to go?
Nah, I'm good going last, Hattie said. You can go, Akio.
Okay, then, Akio grinned. Don't worry, you two. It's not something you need to unwrap, so you can keep eating your cake.
That wasn't actually something that worried us, Akio, Ben said, as Akio walked out of the room for a minute. It wasn't too long before he came back, pulling a small sled that looked like a replica of the one his father had used as a royal ice merchant of Arendelle before he became king. Akio, you know that Firefly won't be able to use that, right?
Ben asked. Snowflake will grow into it, Akio promised.
Snowflake?
You're not the only one who can have a cute nickname for your kid.
Fair enough.
Akio shook his head. Besides, they'll need their own sled to play in the snow when you guys come on trips to Arendelle. Don't think you're getting out of those.
You know we'll be busy running the kingdom, right?
Don't care. You need breaks.
Mal looked over at Hattie.
You know as well as I that they'll go on forever, so why don't you get your gift over here and I'll open it?
Actually, it's kind of like Akio's where it's not wrapped,
Hattie said.
Look up.
Mal looked up and gasped at the sight of a crystal mobile that was hanging from the centre of the ceiling.
I took inspiration from your bracelet, Hattie said. Well, more like I asked Dad to make it or help me reach out to someone who could.
It's beautiful, Mal said as Hattie walked over to a nearby lever to have the mobile lowered so that the expectant parents could see it better. Are those little Cerberus?
Of course. Hattie nodded. Cerberus, dragons, and the beast insignia. Though I also included spray cans, swords, a pirate hat, and a blue fireball. Just so that they know who their favourite uncle is. Hey! Chip exclaimed with a chuckle.
Mal smiled as she walked over and pulled Hattie into a hug. Thank you, Stormcloud. Thank you so much, she whispered.
Hey, you'll put the kibosh on niece or nephew spoiling when they're around, so I figured I'd do it now, Hattie whispered back as he returned the hug as best he could. Was it normal for Mal to be so big? Mum wasn't this big when she was pregnant with Rhea, he thought.
Thought, but did not say out loud, because while his sister was not allowed to drag him up to protect the baby, she could still throw a fireball at him. You know, he's got a point, Mal said, looking at Ben. Have you talked to Adam about not spoiling Pup?
Sure did, Mal.
Ben nodded. Will he actually listen?
Hey, you know there's some cake left. Who wants some?
I do, Rhea and Genevieve said with a grin as Mal shook her head in amusement. She could worry about that later. The fact that her father-in-law might still spoil his grandchild. For right now, though, the only thing she wanted to do was have fun with her husband, brother, sisters-in-law, and her husband's shadows. Though, from the look in Amir and Akio's eyes, Mal had a feeling her child would not be lacking for friends their age. Not if they have anything to say about it. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Oh, that was very sweet. I've never gone to a baby shower as far as any memories of mine go. Not even for my own brother, I think. I think it's more of an American thing. I'm not sure. In fact, I'd never heard of them before I started watching American culture. But they are very sweet. And that was very lovely. I love that Hattie is using like the whole god of wealth bit. Many people forget that Hades is the god of all the riches beneath the earth. And I just like that that's a common tie-in in this story. Oh, before I finish, Ginny, I am chomping at the bit for the next bit of truth or fiction. I don't want to pressure you, but the whole bits with like the coup. Oh my god, I want to see their reaction to all these things so badly. Especially the blow up between CJ and Harry fixing their relationship. And Jane's birthday party. I want to see her and like Carlos gripping hands or something. It's on my mind so much. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.